This is a special presentation from News Channel Nebraska.
Welcome back, Nebraska, and good evening. I'm Mike Flood. Tonight on our second edition of Quarantine Tonight, brought to you by our friends at University of Nebraska Medical Center, we have a superstar performer, a retired senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force. He's played the national anthem and sung at the Grand Ole Opry, and tonight is all ours. So here on News Channel Nebraska, we thank you so much for joining us. My name is Mike Flood, and tonight we are going to celebrate what's good and right about our state and the talent that lives inside amid a world of so much anxiety and news that can be troubling to a lot of our listeners. We want to focus on something that's very, very positive and have a little fun. That's a reminder. We are out to have some fun tonight in Nebraska, and by doing this together, we hope that with the University of Nebraska Medical Center, we can get your mind off of everything that's happening. Now, let's talk about what we did last night. We had a great show. We welcomed Stephen Miller. He was from Creighton, Nebraska, and he did a wonderful job playing the piano for over 2 hours. Viewers from across Nebraska reached out and said that was exactly what they wanted to hear, and tonight we're going to do our best to replicate it. Jimmy is here from the Omaha area. Now, where is here? I can't really tell you. We are observing very strictly the 10-person rule in our undisclosed location, which is located somewhere north of the Platte River in the state of Nebraska. How about that? We'll narrow it down, and I promise you, if you watch the credits, you're going to get a much better idea as to where we're at. But to start, I first, of course, want to thank our crew, Midwest Music Center, Chad Barnhill, and all of his folks that have come here to join us, that are helping make this audio possible. I've got my 13-year-old son running a camera to avoid any kind of exposure outside of the family. We have, last night we had Pastor Ray Wilkie from Grace Lutheran Church, and tonight we're very fortunate to have with us the Associate Pastor from Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Norfolk, Father Scott Schomiller. Now, Father Scott, how did I do in your last name? Could spell that for people.
Schilmoeller.
Probably the hardest last name that we've had on this show, and it's day two.
It's pretty tough. I had to learn how to spell it in second grade. I'm still wounded from that experience myself.
We appreciate you so much being here. You can see this isn't exactly the Kennedy Center. It's close, though.
Yeah, it's all right. It's nice.
Yeah. This is the celebration of Nebraska. Did you get a chance to watch last night?
I did not get a chance to watch last night.
Well, you're invited to stay as long as you want to.
I might stick around. Yeah, thank you.
And you know, this show is really about celebrating the good things in life, the simple things in life, the talents of others. And tonight, with your prayer, we're going to kick things off. So thank you very much for being here.
Sure. Thank you, Mike, for having me. We'll start off in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Heavenly Father, through the Apostle John, you said the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome. Well, Jesus, as we experience an extra amount of darkness during this time in the world, we ask you to let your light shine into our homes, into our hearts. We invite you into every corner of our homes, every corner of our hearts. You are the light. This is your world. This is, you've claimed it for yourself. You have dominion over this whole world. We give you thanks and praise for who you are. You also say to us through in the book of Revelation, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Lord, you're standing at the door of all of our hearts and knocking for us to open, to let the light in. So I invite you today, before we experience this joyful music and all this, that just to really acknowledge where are you at, and to invite the Lord into wherever we are, whether that be just a place where we're having a light experience today, or it's really heavy and dark. Wherever we are, the Lord is there, and we invite him even more inside of that. So Lord Jesus, we invite you to come. We acknowledge our isolation. We acknowledge discouragement, anything that's going on in our hearts, any experiences we've had. Jesus, we invite you into these experiences. Bring your light into our hearts. Cast away power of darkness, evil, anything, any sickness. Jesus, we give you thanks and praise. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen.
Now, hold on, Father Scott. I've got to
Oh,
do
hey.
two things here. First of all, here's some hand sanitizer.
Well, thank you.
And
It's like liquid gold these days.
It is liquid gold. We're doing our best to social distance. And the other thing I want to just ask you is there's so many viewers right now, because of their age, because of prior health conditions, or just risk factors, they're inside their house. They feel isolated. It can be suffocating. The news is just anxious all the time. What's your message to them? Obviously, your prayer tonight is to invite Jesus into your heart, but there are so many folks in the nation and in our state, in our area right now that are feeling isolated. What's a good
That's a really
message
good question. That's a really good question. I would say if that's you, you're sensing that, you're not alone. There's many people sensing that. And what I've been encouraging people, I made about 8 to 10 calls on Monday just to some of our older people in our parish, 75 and up. It was a joy to talk to them. And I encouraged them after I talked to them to make a couple calls themselves. Just make a call. You can't be there in person with a lot of people, but make a few calls and reach out. I actually reached out to a friend of mine I haven't talked to in 3 years. Just because I have time. So I reached out to him, and we started catching up. It was good. So I would say, I'll say reach out, connect. In this time of being disconnected, I think we need that. And some of the people I talked to, they've been getting almost too much of that. Like I talked to one lady on the phone. She said, I got 4 kids. They won't leave me alone. They're calling me like all hours of the day. But for those of you, if you have been connected with or not, we can be that to begin that for other people. We can be the connection. So if you're feeling lonely, pick up that phone. Call somebody up.
And I have a prescription for that, actually. Next week, we are very, very close. And the reason we chose this undisclosed location is that I believe we're going to be able to play virtual bingo right here on Quarantine Tonight.
All right.
Nothing gets people more excited than the opportunity to get bingo anywhere in the state of Nebraska.
Well, especially when it's not happening.
That's right. There is no bingo.
So,
all right. Well,
good
hey,
opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes,
God bless
Father
everyone.
Scott, Sacred Heart Catholic Church in Norfolk. Thank you so much for joining us. And tonight we have a treat. I mean a treat. You're going to enjoy every bit of this. We have been able to get a guest that has been the showcased entertainer at the College Sweet 16 in places like Omaha. He's performed in Europe for the United States Armed Forces, in Afghanistan and Iraq. His name is Jimmy Weber. The United States Air Force knows him as Senior Master Sergeant Retired Jimmy Weber, and he comes to us from Cass County, Nebraska, where he lives. Now, he has 5 children. One of those kids is serving in the United States military right now, and he's awfully proud of him. And tonight's a little bit different than last night. We're going to give Jimmy the stage, and we're going to find out more about him. But let's welcome him up here. The first song that he's going to share, or early on in this performance, is going to bring out a lot of emotion at a time like this. Jimmy, thank you very much. I guess we'll do this to start. How are you feeling?
Oh, fantastic. It's great to be here. It's an honor. So.
We're going to find out a lot about you tonight, but the first thing that people need to know is that you've performed on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, and they called you out and said, this man here from Omaha, Nebraska. That had to be a moment for you.
It was incredible. It was a bucket list moment for sure. My friend Ray Scott, who's a top 40 country artist, invited me to perform there, and it was just a magical night. So.
Well, this is a live performance. You're watching this live. This is happening live. The stage is yours. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Weber.
Thank you so much, Mike. How you doing out there in Nebraska land, folks, and beyond with the apps and everything we're able to do now? I'd like to start my show the way I start most every show that I do, and that is with our national anthem. And normally I dedicate this to our servicemen and women that are overseas that can't be here with us, and that represent that great flag of ours, which we were able to get a flag here tonight for this. But I want to dedicate this to our great country as well tonight. We're going through an unprecedented time with this pandemic, but I believe that we are going to come back better than ever. And so sing along with me if you would. This is our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we walked were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you so much. We're going to keep rolling here. I've got a song I'd like to play for you all. Back in the early 90s, I got back from the first Gulf War. I was just a kid, and the Air Force Band was invited to perform with John Denver at a Welcome Home to the Troops concert. It was one of the highlights of my career, and John was such a great guy. He was so gracious to the Air Force Band members. And if you look on YouTube and you put in John Denver Omaha, you'll see me a little bit younger, maybe before I discovered carbohydrates. But we're on the air on YouTube anyway, and you can see this moment. It's so great. But I'm gonna play one of the songs that John Denver made so famous. This one's called "Country Roads" here. Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is old there, older than the trees, younger than the mountain, flowing like a breeze. The country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country roads. All my memories gather around her, miner's lady, stranger to the water, dark and dusty, fading on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrops in my eyes. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home down country road. I hear her voice in the morning, how she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. And driving down that road, I get a feeling it should have been home yesterday. Yesterday, country
country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Down country roads, country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, yeah, Mountain Mama, oh, take me home. Down country road, take me home. Down country road. Thank you so much. I'm assuming somebody somewhere is applauding. I hope so. Very tender ego I have. But Mike Flood, thank you so much. It's so great to be on the show tonight. On Quarantine Tonight, I want to thank Father for that beautiful prayer too. It takes me back to my Catholic roots in Emory, South Dakota, going to Mass there every week. And more than ever, I think we need to get back to those roots in our country and understand that there's a lot of problems that we can't solve on our own. And we need to ask God to help us with those. So I'm going to play a song for you now that reminds me of growing up in South Dakota. This is a song that I think it's been in the making since I was a 12-year-old boy and got my first guitar, and just how I dreamt about playing on stages and on TV like this. Wrote this with my great friend, Handsome Jake Mayer, and he's here tonight. But this song's called Black and Blue Heart. Dream of future times and the ultimate gig with my music and rhymes, gonna make it big. The roar of the crowd, the cheers of the fans, they like it when it's loud. So we do what we can, living rock and roll dreams with a black and blue heart. It's not all it seems, inside I'm broken apart. Will it all end just like the start, with a rock and roll dream and a black and blue heart? I love the life on the road, but it's been hard on me. I get to feeling damn old, didn't happen for free. My heart turned black the day I lost you. Memories come back, make my blood run blue. Living rock and roll dreams with a black and blue heart. It's not all it seems, inside I'm broken apart. Will it all end just like the start, with a rock and roll dream and a black and blue heart? I'm so blessed to be free, to travel this land. There's nowhere I'd rather be than with my guitar in hand, living rock and roll dreams almost every night, leaving lonely hearts in the morning light. Living rock and roll dreams with a black and blue heart. It's not all it seems, inside I'm broken apart. Will it all end just like the start, with a rock and roll dreams and black and blue heart? Thank you very much. I think we got time for maybe one more before we take a break. Once again, my name is Jimmy Weber. You can find me on YouTube. There's a little channel there that has a few of my songs, the national anthem, and a music video for a song I did, and I'll play that song a little bit later. Right now, I'd like to do a song about the division in our country. I wrote this a while back, and when I grew up, I was kind of conservative. I came from those roots, but I always loved hippie chicks. I don't know about you folks out there. There's probably a few in the audience. And man, we couldn't be more opposite. But I wrote this song about that, and I think it talks to the way our country has kind of slid backwards a little bit. We think that if people disagree with us politically or on economics or something, that somehow we don't love them no more, and it looks like that on social media. But I don't see that in my day-to-day life. I see people that love each other and get along, and in my audiences are people of all persuasions. So you'll hear a little bit about that in this song. This one's called Hippie Chick, You're All Right With Me. I'm a man with conservative roots, like my Wranglers and my cowboy boots. Keep your hybrid cars away from me. I guzzle gas in my SUV. But I know I'd make my old man sick. I fell in love with a hippie chick. And lordy, lordy, she's a sight to see. Texas tiara and a tie-dye tee. It's obvious that she's all wrong for me, yeah. That's all right with me, yeah, yeah, yeah. A Bernie Sanders sticker on her bug. There ain't a tree that she wouldn't hug. She rolls her eyes when I talk right wing. When we're loving, that don't mean a thing. She calls me redneck if I'm drunk or loud, but lets me party with her Greenpeace crowd. And lordy, lordy, she's a sight to see. Texas tiara and a tie-dye tee. It's obvious that she's all wrong for me. That's all right with me, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's got me out there mulching in a pit to hang three, man, I'm loving it. Well, when a juicy steak is what I need, she orders up a plate of weeds and seeds. It's obvious that she's all wrong for me, yeah, but that's all right with me. Lordy, lordy, she's a sight to see. Texas tiara and a tie-dye tee. It's obvious that she's all wrong for me. That's all right with me, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's right.
Is Jimmy Weber. This is News Channel Nebraska, and you're watching Quarantine Tonight. Now, I start hearing about these hippie chicks. I have to put this on. This is, actually, let's take your temperature real quick. I just see what's, he is 97.8. It's okay. Actually, there's a funny story about these masks. There's a lady in Norfolk, Nebraska. Her name's Deb Stinson. She has done upholstery, and she's a, what do they call people that are really good? She's a seamstress of the first order, and she has made 495 of these for the local hospital. She's got another order for 400 going out tomorrow. This is the kind of sacrifice that people in the military understand. Laying everything down on the table and going to work for your country. And while we're having a little fun tonight with Quarantine Tonight, and we might have taken your temperature, it's all in good fun. We want to be safe, we want to be healthy, but we also, at the end of the day, and wouldn't you agree, Jimmy, we still have to celebrate what's good and right. And tonight, you're doing people a favor across the state of Nebraska.
Well, thank you very much. It's an honor to be here, Mike, and thank the crew, everybody here, my good buddy Chad, and
the whole works. So thank you.
Now, the Star Spangled Banner, that was fantastic. You've done that performance, obviously, all over the world. I saw you at the Sweet 16, was it?
It's Elite 8, actually, with Duke in Kansas. It was another bucket list thing. It was just incredible.
Where's the biggest venue you've done the Star Spangled Banner that you'll always remember?
Oh, gosh. It's, well, TD Ameritrade Park. I've performed there, CHI Health Center in Omaha, and, you know, really throughout the world. And as part of the Air Force Band, we did a Vikings game many years ago. But so I was part of that team. I didn't sing the anthem that night, but we backed it up. But it's just, I love the national anthem. I love the song itself. And if you listen to the words, they're very powerful.
And you have a very unique way of doing it. And I hope that when people watch the replay of this, they get to see you do that again. But we're going to hear more from you, a lot more from you. It's very hard, I would think, to perform in a room of like 6 people where there
I've been doing it since before it was popular.
You're watching Quarantine Tonight thanks to our main sponsor, University of Nebraska Medical Center, for all they do, for their commitment to the state. And we know that right now, tirelessly, UNMC employers are working around the clock to research and to help find a cure for this coronavirus as it continues its grip on our nation and our world. We'll be right back, but first let's get an update on news from News Channel Nebraska. You're watching night 2 of Live Quarantine Tonight. We are at an undisclosed location in northern Nebraska. We are celebrating what is good and right about Nebraska without worrying about the news or the next story. We're going to celebrate tonight Jimmy Weber. We're going to bring him on in just a moment here. But a couple things about you in Quarantine Tonight. This show was developed literally last week. It's not designed to be perfect. It's not ever going to be perfect, but it's as good and as honest and as true as you can make it in rural Nebraska. And we're really looking for guests that celebrate the core of what this state is, of what our small communities are, and what rural Nebraska is. As News Channel Nebraska, as the driving force behind News Channel Nebraska, I can tell you our #1 goal is to celebrate every single part of this state, from our largest city like Omaha to some of our smallest cities, population 1, Monowai, Nebraska, in Knox County, Nebraska, or Boyd County, Nebraska. So we invite you to share with us what you think, and you're going to see a phone number on the bottom of your screen. That's not to raise money. That's not to do anything more than to take your calls. Let us know what you think of this programming. Let us know who you want to hear from, your talent ideas, your suggestions, your ideas to celebrate, to interact, and for us to touch you and for you to touch us, and let us know where you want this show to go. Now, tomorrow night, we have something very special. We have the Leo Lonnie Orchestra. You might know this already, but News Channel Nebraska has been a co-conspirator with KHUB Radio in Fremont, Nebraska. The last couple of years, we've co-hosted the annual Polka Party, originally started by Mustache Joe. We have watched as the Leo Lonnie Orchestra and so many other polka bands have celebrated their craft, and we decided that in the first week of Quarantine Tonight, it was only fitting that we get a polka band. Now, because we're trying very, very strictly to live up to the 10-person limit in our undisclosed location, we're going to have to socially distance these polka folks, and we can't allow anybody to come and dance, if you even knew where we were. But what we do want you to do is move the furniture in the living room aside, get the coffee table out of the way, push your recliner out of the way, and maybe get your son or daughter or the next door neighbor. We'd like to see a video of you polka dancing tomorrow night in the living room. We'll give you a special place to send it. I just want to place this little nugget in your head so that maybe we can share with the rest of the state some of the very best polka dancers that enjoy our programming tomorrow night. It will start at 7 Central, 6 Mountain. Again, polka dancing tomorrow night, the Leo Lonnie Orchestra. We couldn't be more excited, and we want to see videos of you and your family inside the 10 limit, please. Hopefully it's just 1 or 2 of you polka dancing inside your living room. We're not going to air any videos of anybody more than 2. We'd just like to see you and your special whoever that is. Could be a son, could be a daughter, could be your spouse. So tonight, we're very fortunate to have a senior master sergeant retired from the United States Air Force. He's performed across the world with the United States Air Force, and he's on his own performing locally. You can find his music online. We'll find out more about that coming up. But he's also from Alexandria, South Dakota, which is not far from Mitchell. Jimmy Weber, please come on board here. We are happy to have you here in our undisclosed location. You have done a great job. Thank you. Your first set included the Star Spangled Banner, Country Roads, one of your originals called Hippie Chick. What does it mean to you to be performing for men and women in all these small towns across Nebraska, coming from a town like Alexandria? Did I say that right?
You did. It's about 400 people, I think, in Alexandria. So you
understand this?
Absolutely, yeah. I grew up playing in those small towns with my family band. We were called the Breakaways. We were all Webers in that group, and it was just awesome going to small town, playing wedding dances and celebrations like that. And later on, several of us joined the Air Force Band and had careers in music that way.
I bet there's a lot of airmen and airwomen up in South Dakota because you've got Ellsworth Air Force Base up there.
We do, out near the Black Hills. But it's funny how many folks from the Midwest, from the small towns, raise their hand and join our military. And people would be surprised at how large a percentage of the actual military are folks from small towns.
It's amazing. And it really forms you, doesn't it? I mean, when I hear you singing, and when I hear your background, and we talked a little bit this afternoon just in depth, it really does form the person you are today, growing up in a small town.
Oh, it does. And those work ethic and values and things like that, and family are something you carry into the military. And the military is a family as well. And so you get to share in that while you're away from home, while you're overseas in places like Iraq. It's like you're in a new family, if that makes sense.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Weber, Quarantine Tonight, News Channel, Nebraska.
Thank you, Mike. It is so great to be here. One of my stories I like to tell about my time in the Air Force Band was the time I was in a town called Aberdeen, South Dakota, where the home of the Brown County Fair. And one of the things I loved most about performing there with the Air Force Band or with civilian groups was all the great talent they would bring up to Aberdeen. And one time I got a chance to perform with the Air Force Band, and then later on, it was Glenn Campbell who took the stage. Glenn was my all-time hero, a great guitar player, a singer, actor. He was in True Grit, and I just about worshiped the guy. And so imagine my surprise when I saw him at the hotel, and he was playing pool with his daughter. No one else was at the hotel. It was after the show. Everybody else was still at the fair. So I walked up to Glenn, and I said, "Mr. Campbell, I don't want to bother you, but you're my all-time hero. I love you, and I won't bother you anymore." And he said, "Hey, you want to play some pool?" And sure, I said. And I played pool with Glenn for about an hour, and we talked, and he just took me under his wing. And recently, of course, we lost Glenn. But his music still lives on. And one of the songs that was just entered into the National Registry of the Library of Congress is this next song. It's about a power lineman, and I guess near this undisclosed location, we have one of the finest power lineman schools in America. So I wanted to dedicate this to all those folks who work hard every day and are always thinking about their loved ones. This one's called Wichita Lineman. I am a lineman for the county, and I drive the main road, searching in the sun for another overload. I hear you singing in the wire, I can hear you in the whine, in the Wichita lineman is still on the line. I know I need a small vacation, but it don't look like rain. And if it snows, that stretched out south won't ever stand the strain. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. In the Wichita lineman is still on the line. And I need you more than want you, and I want you for all time. In the Wichita lineman is still on the line, still on the line. Thank you so much. I'd like to play an original song I just wrote. Another one with my great buddy, handsome Jake Mayer. If you could see him tonight, you'd agree he's handsome. But he's been a real source of inspiration and friendship to me, especially lately. I lost a great friend just a few months back. My good buddy, Sean Lidgett. He owned Lidgett Music in Council Bluffs, Iowa. And so many of my fine guitars, like the two that you see me playing tonight, were purchased usually at a great discount at Lidgett Music. And Sean lost a battle with an illness that he had been fighting for a long time. And our fine folks at Methodist Hospital took such great care of him. But in all that sadness, my friend Jake came to me and he said, I have an idea for a song. And this song kind of is a metaphor to me between East and West, our life on earth and our life in heaven. And it'll mean different things to different people. But I hope you enjoy this song. This one's called Western Moon. I saw the early morning moon as I left to make my way, hanging over the frozen ground. I thought I heard it say, leave the breaking dawn behind you, like the embers of your past. High above the western sky, I'll watch you coming home at last. Western moon, I hear you calling. Eastern sun, I'm on the run. Gonna leave behind this life I live. A new day has begun. Eastern sun, now I am leaving. Yeah, your raging fires are done. I'm heading over the hills and rivers to the place where I come from. So I'll gather what is left of me and pack up all my pain, leaving eastern hearts behind me, lost loves I could not tame. I follow songs that echo out from across the western fields, where the wind drowns out the wrong I've done any heartaches that I feel. Western moon, I hear you calling. Eastern sun, I'm on the run. Gonna leave behind this life I live. New day has begun. Eastern sun, now I am leaving. Yeah, your raging fires are done. I'm heading over the hills and rivers to the place where I come from. Where I come from. When my bones and when my body return as dust unto the land, will my soul still carry on? Will my legacy still stand? Will I even leave a memory? Will I even leave a trace? Or any small reminder of all the dreams that I once chased? Western moon, I hear you calling. You have saved me from my ruin. Yeah, western moon, I'll be there soon. Western moon, western moon. Thank you so much. So I got time for one more, fellas? They're so far away. They're socially distancing themselves from me. It's a fact. Mike and I talked a little bit earlier about my beloved home of Alexandria, South Dakota, and I grew up there. I was one of 100 first cousins, all total. And so in a town of 400, that made dating very embarrassing and kind of difficult at times. Today, these kids have all these apps on their phones that they can date with. There's Tinder, Bumble. I don't know any of these, but back then what we really needed was Ancestry.com. So I just imagine calling up girls and saying, hey, I'll be over with a 12-pack of Schlitz and a DNA test, and we'll see where it goes from there. But my grandfather was one of the big figures in our family. My Grandpa Joe. Both grandfathers were amazing, but my Grandpa Joe was more active in my life, and he was just my all-time hero. I loved him, and this song's dedicated to him. It's called I Moved a Mountain. I wrote this song with my great friend Tim Beasy and Dan Barnes. He cast a shadow a half-mile long. He was old, but he was strong. Nobody dared to push him around. That was my Grandpa Joe. 50 pounds soaking wet was as big as I thought I'd get. Like standing at the foot of Everest, he made me feel so small. A hard man for a boy to read, but I got the nerve, climbed up on his knee. Said, I love you, Grandpa, and a tear rolled down his withered cheek. And that day I moved a mountain, didn't know I had it in me. Didn't think he was only human. Never dreamed that mountains could be. But I thank God I got to know him in that way. That day I moved the mountain. 12 years old that Christmas Eve, tearing into presents around the tree. The phone rang, Dad couldn't look at me, he just said Grandpa's gone. Us older kids all started to cry. The younger ones couldn't understand why. Well, how do you explain that heroes die? It just seems so wrong. 4 days later, lined up in a pew with 5 of my cousins, the chosen few. We did what we were there to do, and we carried him home. And that day I moved a mountain, didn't know I had it in me. Didn't think he was all the human, never dreamed the mountains could be. But I thank God I got to know him in that way. Before that day, I moved a mountain. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That day I moved the mountain.
Now that was unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Weber on Quarantine Tonight. You're watching News Channel Nebraska. We'll be right back. Well, before we get to Jeff Fox and find out what the weather has in store, we do know that there's some showers moving into Nebraska. Some of those could be strong, and they haven't said severe yet, but certainly some strong thunderstorms. We'll get those details on our AccuWeather forecast coming up. You're watching Quarantine Tonight. We are live right now on News Channel Nebraska. We don't always do this. If we're live, we're usually at a basketball game or a football game or some kind of a sporting event. But we decided during this period of extended concern over the coronavirus to put our resources to good and to celebrate the talents of Nebraskans that are willing to share them with all of us. And tonight, we are very fortunate to have Jimmy Weber. He's a retired senior master sergeant in the United States Air Force, traveled the world with the Air Force, has a number of his own original songs that we're enjoying tonight, along with songs like Wichita County Lineman and Country Roads Take Us Home. He has a great talent and somebody we've enjoyed tonight. We're going to welcome him back. A reminder that tomorrow we have polka. We want to remind everyone that starts at 7 Central. And for those of you that like to do a little polka dancing, invite one person over to show us a window into your room. We're going to figure out a way for you to get those videos to us during the performance tomorrow so that we can showcase what's happening in living rooms across the Cornhusker State. That's all tomorrow night on Quarantine Nebraska. It's all brought to you by University of Nebraska Medical Center, UNMC. They are doing amazing work, working around the clock to fight not only this disease, but to provide the leadership in healthcare for Nebraska. Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Weber, he's done a great job. He's here for more. What are we in store for here? You've got a lot of music in your blood, and it sounds like there's a lot of Webers in South Dakota. Your son is, you've got 5 children, one in the Air Force. Do they share your same love for music?
They share the love for music. None of them are performing currently, but I'm hoping that they can start doing that and ensure that I have the retirement that I deserve.
Well, you take
Unlikely,
it away.
Though. Thank you so much, Mike. It's so great to be here tonight. I know this has been just a trying time and a crazy time for all of us. And thinking about some of the things you can do by yourself in isolation right now is one of the things that comes to mind is fishing. I don't know about you folks at home. I love to fish, and I don't get to do it often enough. Years ago, I was stationed with the Air Force Band in Anchorage, Alaska, and one time we decided to take a little bit of extra leave while we were performing down throughout Alaska, and we hooked up some fishing boats and some other gear, and our commander came out and said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, sir, we're going to do our shows." And he said, "What's all this gear hooked up to these government vehicles illegally?" And I said, "Well, sir, we thought we'd do some fishing." And he said, "Well, what about the mission?" And I said, well, sir, fishing is the mission. And he did not laugh. He did not think that was funny, so we had to unhook everything, but we did a little fishing anyway. So I brought that story up once to my friends Rick Tiger and Tim Beasy, and they said, that sounds like a song. So we wrote it. This one's called Fishing is the Mission. And you can find this and most of my music on iTunes, except for the new songs I'm playing tonight, which aren't recorded yet. But please go out to iTunes and all the other locations you can find, or come to one of my shows. I'd be happy to hook you up with a CD. Fishing is the mission. I had a meeting with the company boss. He was crying by profit and loss. Said he was worried, and then he said, Hoss, I'm wondering if you share the vision. I said, if you're talking about a day on the lake with an Evinrude humming and a bucket of bait, blow the whistle, brother, 'cause I can't wait, 'cause fishing is a mission. Riding reel or an old Cape pole, ain't stopping till I find that magic pole. For a 7-pound northern, I'd sell my soul. Fishing is a mission. Swapping my suit for a pair of jams and a Panama hat, that's who I am. Drop the line and get a tan, just waiting for the big one. Got my baby sitting next to me, bikini top and cut-off jeans. How lucky can one man be? With fishing is a mission. Riding reel or an old Cape pole, ain't stopping till I find that magic hole. For a 30-pound salmon, I'd sell my soul. Fishing is a mission. Norfolk, Nebraska, Tahoe, Nevada, down to Louisiana, deep sea fishing off the Florida coast. Next to my baby, what I love the most is riding reel on old Cape pole, ain't stopping till I find that magic hole. For a 100-pound marlin, I'd sell my soul. Fishing is a mission. From the bank, from the boat, don't fishing is a mission. Fishing is a mission. Fishing is a mission. Thank you so much. I'd like to do another song, another one I wrote with my good buddy Handsome Jake, and these are all going to be on a new record that I'm going to be cutting as soon as this craziness blows over. I'll be down in Nashville, Tennessee with the great Mike Rogers. He's music director and one of the pickers with the Craig Morgan Band, but an incredible talent. We went to Iraq together as part of a Stars for Stripes tour. It was one of the most memorable, and so I'm looking forward to working with Mike, and this is just one of the songs that we're going to be cutting. I hope you enjoy it. This one's called Just Be Mine Tonight. I spent time as a good man. I spent time raising hell. I spent time on the straight road and the crooked as well. Sometimes I begged for forgiveness, others I didn't give a damn. Sometimes I stood like a warrior, but others I ran. And now I'm running straight to you. Baby, I need you to need me, even if someday you'll leave me. Never say never, but if not for I don't mind being alone, like being my own man. But right now I'm hoping you'll take my hand. I'm not asking for promises, not saying I'm the one. We'll just have to see what happens in the long run. 'Cause now I'm running straight to you, and baby, I need you to need me. Even if someday you leave me, never say never, but if not forever, just be mine tonight. I was true, I was faithful, but it all fell apart. And now I've hardened my heart. Now I'm running straight to you. Baby, I need you to need me. Even if someday you leave me, never say never, but if not forever, just be mine tonight. Don't need to be a one and only. There's no need to be lonely. Never say never, but if not forever, just be mine tonight. Never say never, but if not forever, just be mine tonight. Thank you so much. Do we got time for another one? Another two, maybe. All right, that's always good to hear. I'd like to do a song right now that really touches my heart. Always has since I performed it first time with the Air Force Band. I just arrived at Offutt Air Force Base, and we got requested to do this song by a 4-star general. And I didn't know it at the time, but I will tell you, when a 4-star general in the military requests you to do anything, you just get it done. So on a couple days' notice, I learned this next song, and I've played it 1,000 times since, and I hope to play it another 10,000. This one's called God Bless the USA. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife, I would thank my lucky stars to be living here today. You know the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the ones who died, who gave that right to me. And I proudly stand up next to you and defenders still today. See, there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Nebraska, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, from New York to LA, there is pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand to say that I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't gonna proudly stand up next to you and defend her still today. There ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Yeah, the USA. Thank you so much. I think I got time for one more song. And I'm going to do a song. I wrote this with my great friend Tim Beasy. It's one of the first songs I ever wrote. And this is kind of a little bit of a love song. And it's been played at a lot of weddings. And you can find this along with all my other original music that's been recorded on iTunes and online. You can even check out YouTube. I have a little YouTube channel. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I hope you enjoy this song. This one's called Will You Share My Dreams? I've always been a simple man, never known who I am. I was like the drifting sand. I moved to places never been. Now I think I finally see the kind of man I'm supposed to be. So will you hold my hand, walk through life with this new man? Will you share my dreams? Will you hold tight to me? See the things that I see, hold this man that I become. Walk through life with me, and each night on our knees, we'll give thanks to the Lord above for bringing life and love. Will you share my dreams? Will you give me kids that look like you? We'll live and love like we do, a family strong and tall, the finest of them all. And when old age gets the best of me, would you be the last thing that I see? When they lay me down to rest, they'll know we had the very best. Will you share my dreams? Will you hold tight to me? See the things that I see, hold this man that I become. Walk through life with me, and each night on our knees, we'll give thanks to the Lord above for bringing life and love. Will you share my dreams? All the joy my heart desires, you bring me, girl. Well, when I could never live without you in my world, will you share my dreams? Will you hold tight to me? See the things that I see, oh, this man that I become. Walk through life with me, each night on our knees. We'll give thanks to the Lord above for bringing life and love. Will you share my dreams? Will you share my dreams?
That was wonderful. Thank you so much. Jimmy Weber, ladies and gentlemen, and the ladies and gentlemen are all in their living room right now. They're not here.
They are. And I want to say thank you to UNMC. They saved my life about a year ago. And I don't know why I didn't think to dedicate that to them. And they used that song as part of a promotion to teach people about heart disease, which I had a heart attack, and they saved my life. And I want to thank them for everything and for sponsoring tonight's show.
Wow, that's great. Well, you know, I was just thinking while you were singing that, there's so many people that are going to bed at night, and these are uncertain times, and these are uncommon times. You know, what's your message for people that are watching tonight? They're enjoying this. Hopefully their mind's off it, and you're driving up to Norfolk. You know, you get the call 2 days ago to say, well, I guess we're not supposed to say where we are, but you're getting the call, you're driving up here. What's going through your mind? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about how grateful I am to be living in the greatest country on the face of the earth. We have the finest medicine. We have tremendous military, tremendous leadership in our country. And I know it seems like we're butting heads a lot, but we're coming together as a country, and these times are what bring you together. And we've survived great challenges in this country, and we will not only survive this one, we'll lead the world, and we're going to save a lot of lives. And just be thankful that you're where you're at, and we can enjoy the comforts that we have, and just tremendous blessings. And I think those come from God personally. And however you believe those, you at least can look around this country and say that there's goodness all around.
Thank you very much. This is Jimmy Weber. More of him coming up. Let's check that AccuWeather forecast as we watch Quarantine Tonight. You're watching NCN.
Hi, everybody. The skies are still gray, but it has been nice to watch our Great Dane Skycam in Wayne brighten up just a little bit this afternoon. Now, I do think that there are more clouds coming, and it is going to get a duller gray again. Northeast Nebraska, you can see how the clouds have gotten a little bit spottier this afternoon, but there's just a whole lot of action. So any place that clears up, as it did right here in north central Nebraska, when it clears up, more clouds come back to replace. And I think we're going to see that in western Nebraska, where there's some afternoon sun right now. You are going to see clouds come back later tonight, because I think you and the rest of us are going to see rains. Just you're going to see it first. So some sprinkles off to the west, some showers right along the South Dakota border, mainly cloudy skies throughout the state, and as has been the case over the past few days, the majority of the action well up to the north of us. And I don't think that really is going to be what's going to pose a threat for us. It's going to be a low that'll come out of the west and move through Nebraska, and that happens late tomorrow and into Saturday. I will show you that in a sec. Right now, we have 40s and 50s across the state. We were the demarcation line between the mild and the not so mild. That line was over Nebraska yesterday. You can see how it's slid down over the last 24 hours. The cool air is winning this battle. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a few days before we see it get mild again. So overnight tonight, mainly cloudy skies with some scattered showers and a little bit of mist and a little bit of fog and drizzle. No place is going to see a particularly nice day tomorrow. And by tomorrow afternoon in the west, the low pressure system that's going to drive our weekend weather will start taking hold, and we'll start seeing some heavier downpours and stronger winds. Overnight tonight, mainly in the 30s and 40s, with the exception of Scottsbluff. I can put my hand right there. It's all 40s and 50s coming up tomorrow, and then 40s and 50s on Saturday. Here's Saturday's look. It's a low pressure system right there, and it swings right through Nebraska, and that seems to be significant rain. Now, we're going to get more rain on Tuesday, so that's part of this picture as well. But what you see here in yellow is about an inch or more, and then we're talking a couple of inches when you're getting into the oranges. So that's a significant rain, though we have not seen one of that size in a while. So it should not pose a problem, other than being uncomfortable.
Well, before we get to Jeff Fox, we want to welcome you back to our undisclosed location. This is a nightly program, and our second night makes it sound like we've done it for a while. It's called Quarantine Tonight. It's our effort at News Channel Nebraska to put the focus on something positive that celebrates the state and the people inside of it. And tonight we are very fortunate to have a man who very clearly loves his country. He's been an advocate for it. He's been a member of the United States Armed Forces, a retired senior master sergeant from the United States Air Force. Jimmy Weber joins us. Jimmy grew up in Alexandria, South Dakota, served at Offutt Air Force Base, and tonight made the trip up from Cass County. He lives just south of Plattsmouth, north of Nebraska City at Beaver Lake. And how many years you been performing, Jimmy? Well, we don't have to go there.
I'm going to tell you right now, this year, I didn't realize it, but this is my 40th year performing live. I believe I got my first guitar when I was 12, and I was on stage by the time I was 13 that same year. And it's crazy to think that it's been going on that long.
Well, thank you so much for sharing what you do with our viewers tonight, with all of us here. There's all 6 of us here. But I want to ask you to perform something that when I started looking into Jimmy Weber and everything that you've accomplished in your musical career, the song Taps, your own version of the song Taps, is a very emotional but also very poignant tribute to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for their country. Tell me what inspired you. Where did this come from? What is it about?
Well, Alexandria is a very small town, and so when we lost Sergeant Greg Wagner in the war in Iraq, we were just devastated as a community. And I'd just gotten back from Iraq myself, I think a couple weeks prior, but Greg didn't make it home. And at the funeral, his family asked if I'd write a song for him. I said, I don't think I can, but I agreed I was going to do it one day. And Bruce Rasmussen, who's Creighton's athletic director, and also the chair of the NCAA men's basketball, I believe he still is, and wonderful man, sent me these lyrics to Taps. I don't know if you've ever heard.
No, I had no idea.
I had no idea. And so that haunted me for the longest time, and I got together with my friend Dave Brainerd in Nashville, Tennessee, and we finally put them to music, and then we let it set. And I ran into a guy named Trevor George, who's a videographer. He's just a fine producer. And the two of us did this video virtually. We produced it ourselves. We had some fine actors from the Nashville area. They were just friends of mine, the Klingensmith family, and they played the parts. And a young fellow named Forrest Lee Jr., the third or something. It was just a wonderful thing that we put together. And we shot it at Johnny Cash's farm. And I hope it does. If you go to YouTube and just type in Jimmy Weber Taps, and you can see the video. But it's going out to all the families of those who made the ultimate sacrifice, like Greg Wagner and so many more.
Jimmy Weber, this is Quarantine Tonight, News Channel, Nebraska.
The song's called Taps, God is Nigh. Day is done, gone the sun, from the lakes, from the hills, from the sky, all is well, safely rest, God is nigh. Fading light dims the sight, and a star gems the sky, gleaming bright from afar, drawing nigh, falls the night. For all the sons and daughters who have died for you and me, who fought with pride and honor, now rest in the name of peace. It echoes up to heaven, the sacred melody. It serves as a reminder of the reasons we are free. thanks and praise for our days beneath the stars, beneath the sun, beneath the sky. As we go this we know God's nigh. Thank you so much. I'd like to play a song right now that was done by the Beatles years ago. And it was really Paul McCartney that brought this song to life. And I think about my travels all over the world where it was just me and a guitar. A lot of times, when I was active duty, they'd fly you out in a helicopter, sometimes just by myself. And I'd go play for some troops. Maybe it was 5 or 6 men or women. And that weren't able to get any other entertainment because of the logistics. And it was so fun just to pull up a guitar and sing along with friends. And I hope you can sing with me at home. This song is so beautiful, I think, by Paul McCartney. It's called Blackbird. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life. You were only waiting for that moment to rise. Blackbird singing in the dead of night. Take these broken eyes, learn to see all your life. You were only waiting for that moment to be free. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird fly, blackbird fly into the light of the dark black night. Blackbird sing in the dead of night. Take these broken wings and learn to fly all your life, yeah. You were only waiting for that moment to arrive. You were only waiting for that moment to arrive. You were only waiting for that moment to arrive. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to perform here on Quarantine tonight. I just want to send my love out to all of you. I want to say hello to my mother, Maureen Weber. You're the best friend I have in the world, and to all my children and my friends in the military back at Offutt Air Force Base, and who are protecting us throughout this whole thing. We're going to get through it, and we're going to be stronger than we've ever been. God bless our country. Pray for our leaders and for each other. Be good to each other. This last song I'm going to do here today, I haven't done in a while, so I'm glad I'm getting this opportunity. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of green, for purple in majesty above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for heroes prove in liberating strife, who more than self their country love, and mercy more than life. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. If you're at home, sing with me if you would. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. And crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
That was amazing. I don't know about you at home, but if you don't have the hairs on the back of your neck sticking up right now, I don't know if you're in America. That was beautiful. How often do you do something like that?
Not near often enough, but it's a joy every time I get to sing it, especially when people sing along.
That is the most powerful rendition I've ever heard of that. And I think if you're sitting at home in these troubled times and you're thinking about what's right and wrong, and there's 300 channels on your TV in some areas, and if the Federal Communications Commission ever asked me what you did with the license, I would show them a picture of that and a video of that, and I'd say, that's Exhibit A. Great job.
Well, thank you so much. It's been an absolute honor, and I hope to see many more of your shows. I'll be tuning into Quarantine Tonight, I know, as you keep bringing. God bless you for doing this.
Yeah.
People need it, and it's, like I said, an honor to be here, Mike. Thank you so much.
Two things we need to know. If somebody's at home right now, this is Jimmy Weber. It's W-E-B-B-E-R?
Just one B.
Just one B. W-E-B-E-R. How can they find your music? How can they get to it?
They can find it on YouTube. If you go Jimmy Weber Taps, it'll take you to the other things I have there. Unfortunately, my website went down recently. A company that was doing it sold it off. So we're getting that back up.
It wasn't Al-Qaeda, was it?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
It might have just been music lovers that took it down.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
But nonetheless, you can find my music on iTunes. I guess it's on Spotify and Pandora, all that stuff. I didn't know. I was at my buddy Jake's house, and he said, hey, Alexa, play Jimmy Weber, and it's come up. So you can do that. And But I'd love to see you all at a show when this is all done. We're going to get through this, and it's going to be wonderful. And thank you for allowing us to do this.
Thank you. I think I speak for all of our viewers tonight. Thank you for sharing your talents with us and being here from Omaha and Offutt Air Force Base.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jimmy Weber, you're watching Quarantine Tonight. We'll be right back. This is News Channel Nebraska.
During these difficult days, we're trusting in God more than ever to lead the way. While you may not be able to attend your services, you can still worship. Every morning at 8:10, join News Channel Nebraska for Morning Mass, live from St. Isidore's Catholic Church.
Well, at least through this effort, we can be psychologically present to Jesus and can receive him in our hearts if we can't be physically present to receive him.
Please join us for Mass every morning at 8:10 here on News Channel Nebraska. These are difficult times, and News Channel Nebraska is dedicated to supporting your family. So we're partnering with the Nebraska State Education Association to present Teacher TV. 5 days a week, Nebraska's top teachers will be here to teach your kids. From 9 to 11 a.m., lessons for elementary students. From 1 to 3 p.m., secondary classes. News Channel Nebraska and the NSEA are here for you. Teacher TV. Made possible thanks to the support of Bryan Health, the University of Nebraska, and Nebraska Public Power District.
Welcome back to Quarantine Tonight. I'm your host, Mike Flood, and you can tell this is local television at its finest. I brought my 13-year-old son. He's running the camera tonight. His name is Brendan. I had an extra mask. He said he ought to wear it tonight. He's really feeling just fine, right, Brendan? You're okay?
Totally.
Totally. So he doesn't have school during the day. He does have it, but he doesn't have to go. And he's got on the ultra sought after, highly sleek Quarantine Tonight t-shirt. Your chance to win those coming up next week. We'll tell you all about it. A reminder, tomorrow night on Quarantine Tonight, we have the Leo Lonnie Band, the orchestra from Brainerd, Nebraska. We're going to be featuring polka starting at 7 Central, 6 Mountain. We want you to enjoy it. We want you to move the furniture out of the living room, and you and your dance partner show us what it looks like on video. Send those videos to us, and we're going to play them during tomorrow night's performance. You're watching News Channel Nebraska. We want to thank our sponsor, University of Nebraska Medical Center, for believing in rural Nebraska, not only with their work, but in their deeds and everything that they commit themselves to. And all of you for sharing time with us tonight. Jimmy Weber did a wonderful job, and it was time well spent. On behalf of Brendan, Chad Barnhill, Midwest Music Center, the crew, all of our technicians, and certainly Will in the truck, thank you. From an undisclosed location somewhere north of the Elkhorn River in the state of Nebraska, I'm Mike Flood on behalf of News Channel Nebraska. Good night.